Hey everyone, welcome back to Yousaf Reacts. I am Lois and today, we're diving into the epic conclusion of the Hunger Games saga with Mockingjay Part 2. This 2015 film wraps up the story of Katniss Everdeen and her fight against the oppressive regime of President Snow. Let's break down the plot, characters, and key themes of this cinematic finale. The film picks up right where Mockingjay Part 1 left off. Katniss Everdeen, played by Jennifer Lawrence, is recovering from an attack by peeta, who has been brainwashed by the Capitol. As the war against President Snow intensifies, Katniss joins a special unit on a mission to assassinate Snow and end the tyranny of the Capitol once and for all. Katniss is joined by her friends Gale, Hawthorne, finnick, and a squad of soldiers, each with their own skills and motivations. They navigate a war-torn Panem, filled with deadly traps and relentless Capitol forces, showcasing the brutal reality of rebellion and the cost of freedom. Let's talk about the character arcs in this film. Katniss's journey from a reluctant participant to the symbol of the revolution is powerful and poignant. Jennifer Lawrence's performance captures the weight of leadership and the personal toll of the conflict. Peeta, portrayed by Josh Hutcherson, goes through a harrowing transformation. His struggle with his memories and identity after being tortured by the Capitol adds a layer of psychological depth to the narrative. His dynamic with Katniss evolves as they both confront their past traumas and their hopes for the future. Gale Hawthorne, played by Hemsworth, faces his own moral dilemmas, questioning the lengths he's willing to go for victory. And let's not forget finnick, played by Claflin, whose bravery and tragic backstory add emotional gravity to the plot. Themes of war, sacrifice, and the quest for freedom are central to Mockingjay Part 2. The film doesn't shy away from showing the harsh realities of rebellion and the heavy price paid by those involved. It raises important questions about leadership, the use of propaganda, and the personal cost of political struggle. The movie also delves into the complexities of revenge and justice. Katniss's final confrontation with President Snow and her ultimate decision highlight the nuanced portrayal of these themes. The visual effects and action sequences are top-notch, providing a visceral experience that draws viewers into the intensity of the rebellion. From the Capitol's traps to the climactic battle scenes, the film delivers on both spectacle and emotional impact. Katniss and a team of rebels from District 13 prepare for the final battle that will decide the fate of Panem. After young Katniss Everdeen agrees to be the symbol of rebellion, the Mockingjay, she tries to return Peeta to his normal state, tries to get to the Capitol, and tries to deal with the battles coming her way. But all for her main goal, assassinating President Snow and returning peace to the districts of Panem. As her squad starts to get smaller and smaller, will she make it to the Capitol? Will she get revenge on Snow, or will her target change? Will she be with her star-crossed lover, Peeta, or her longtime friend, Gale? Deaths, bombs, bow and arrows, a love triangle, hope. What will happen after Katniss Everdeen, the girl on fire, accepted the role of the Mockingjay, the symbol of rebellion against the autocratic Capitol? She and the rebels of District 13 poise an all-out war against them. However, this time Katniss has a personal agenda, assassinating President Snow herself, to gain revenge not only for Panem's sake, but for her own as well. After accepting her role as the Mockingjay, Katniss Everdeen, along with her team, prepares to take their fight straight to the ruthless Capitol. While her mission is to bring President Snow down once and for all, Katniss finds that her squad dies at the hands of either mutts, peacekeepers, or both. Once in the Capitol, Katniss discovers that there is another threat rising that could decide not only her fate, but the future of all Panem. Katniss Everdeen Jennifer Lawrence is recovering after being attacked by peeta Josh Hutcherson, who has been brainwashed by the Capitol. Peeta has also recovered to a large extent, but is still kept under confinement. as he can have episodes from time to time where he gets very violent and vows to kill Katniss. The rebels attack and disable the Capitol's weapons arsenal in District 2. The rebels in District 2 are led by Holmes, Commander Lime Gwendoline Christie, a previous winner from District 2, and Commander Paler. Without the control of the arsenal, the Capitol cannot be defeated. Yet the arsenal is very well protected. It is buried deep inside a mountain and a ground attack is suicidal. The rebel plan is to use the surrounding mountains to trigger an avalanche that will bury all entry and exit points for the weapons arsenal building. The weapons depot is protected by civilians from District 2 and the Capitol loyalists. Katniss believes that the rebels are using the same kind of brutal tactics that the Capitol has used against the district so far. Gale argues that anyone working for the Capitol is the enemy. Coin suggests that they leave the train tunnel open for civilians to escape and surrender to rebel forces. Katniss tries to rally the loyalists against the Capitol. She argues that as the districts fight each other, only Snow wins. She says that she is done being a slave of the Capitol, but is shot and injured in the confrontation. President Snow orders the evacuation of the outer borders of the Capitol to allow the rebels in. He readies anti-aircraft defenses to secure the skies, and his plan is to use the game makers to win the battle against the rebels in the streets. He wants rebels to pay heavily for every inch they march inside his capital. Despite Katniss' desire to kill President Snow, Donald Sutherland personally, Elma Coin Julianne Moore refuses to allow her into battle. Coin argues that as far as the rebels are concerned, Katniss has survived a bullet to the heart in reality. She was wearing a bulletproof vest, and they would understand if they don't see her in battle. Plutarch Heavensby Philip Seymour Hoffman says that Katniss will be flown into the Capitol for the surrender. At Finnick Sam Claflin and Annie's wedding, Johanna Mason Gena Malone suggests Katniss sneak aboard a supply ship, leaving for the Capitol, where Commander Paler Patina Miller is planning an invasion. Unable to bring Katniss back, Coin has her assigned to the Star Squad, led by Boggs Mahershala Ali, and includes Gale Liam Hemsworth, Finnick, Cressida Natalie Dormer, Messala Evan Ross, Castor West Chatham, Pollux Eldon Henson, Jackson Michelle Forbes, the League Twins, Mitchell, and Holmes Omid Abtahi. They will follow in relative safety, several days behind the actual invasion of the Capitol, providing video of their incursion for propaganda purposes. Each member of the squad is given a suicide pill in the event that they are captured. Boggs carries a holographic map, the Hala, to help them evade known booby-trapped pods which line the streets of the Capitol. To prevent Halas falling into the hands of the Capitol, each device is loaded with a self-destruct mechanism. The war for the Capitol is now equivalent to the 76th Hunger Games. Coin also sends Peeta to join the squad, even though he has not fully recovered from the Capitol's conditioning. Boggs educates Katniss that Coin perhaps wanted to get rid of Katniss and hence eventually did send her into battle. Boggs says that Coin never likes anyone that she cannot completely control, and it was Peeta she wanted to rescue from the arena and not Katniss. After the war, a free election was promised and Coin was afraid that Katniss would not support her and hence her only value to the rebellion is now being dead. Boggs promises to protect Katniss. As they venture deeper into the Capitol, Boggs triggers a pod which sets off a landmine and mortally wounds him and transfers command of the Hala to Katniss before dying. The squad triggers another pod, which releases a flood of lethal black tar. Peeta momentarily succumbs to his conditioning and attacks Katniss, pushing Mitchell into the tar and killing him. The group takes shelter in an abandoned building, where Jackson, the second in command, attempts to commandeer the Hala, until Katniss convinces them she is under secret orders from Coin to kill Snow. Katniss and most of the group escape just before a squad of peacekeepers arrive and destroy the building, killing the League Twins. The Capitol broadcasts a message announcing Katniss's death, which is interrupted by Coin, who delivers an impassioned eulogy for her to rally the rebels. Katniss decides to mount an attack on Snow's palace, but the palace is 75 blocks away and pods are set up every 10 steps. The team descends into the Capitol's sewers to avoid further pods. Snow's team picks up Katniss in the underground sewers and knows that the team is alive, but they are attacked by a horde of genetically engineered creatures called mutts. Jackson, Castor, and Holmes are killed as the squad flees through the sewers. Finnick is overwhelmed as he fights off the swarm to allow the team to escape, forcing Katniss to set the Hollow's self-destruct, killing him and the remaining mutts. The surviving team members reach the surface, but are chased by peacekeepers, and Messala is killed by a pod that melts and disintegrates him. The team takes refuge in a shop, where Tigress Eugenie Bondurant, a former Hunger Games stylist and Rebel sympathizer, hides them in her basement. As Rebel forces gain ground, Snow invites fleeing Capitol citizens into his mansion for protection. Katniss and Gale join the crowd, posing as refugees to gain access to Snow. Rebels arrive and attack, killing many in the crossfire. In the chaos, Katniss pushes forward to Snow's mansion, where peacekeepers are herding Capitol children toward the closed gates. A hovercraft flies overhead and drops small parcels by parachute into the pen of children. The parcels explode, killing them. A team of Rebel medics attempt to help the injured, among whom is Katniss's sister Prim Willow Shields. A second wave of bombs detonate, killing Prim and knocking Katniss unconscious. Upon recovering, Katniss learns the Capitol has been conquered and Snow captured. When Katniss confronts Snow, he claims that Coin orchestrated the bombing outside his mansion to turn his soldiers against him. Katniss realizes that the incident resembles a trap that Gale had developed earlier. When Gale is unable to assure Katniss that the bombs were not of his design, Katniss cuts all ties with him. Coin, now the interim president, refuses to hold the promised democratic election. Coin invites the remaining Hunger Games victors to vote on a proposal to have another Hunger Games, using the children of the Capitol as a symbolic gesture to satisfy the districts. Katniss swings the vote in favor, in exchange for the right to execute Snow personally. At the execution, Katniss shoots and kills Coin instead of Snow. Snow is tortured and killed by the angry mob. Katniss then tries to swallow her suicide pill, but Peeta stops her, and she is arrested. Katniss is eventually pardoned for her crime and returns to District 12, where she is joined by Peeta, who has recovered from his conditioning. Commander Paler is elected the new president of Panem, and Katniss, Peeta, and Haymitch Woody Harrelson bond over their shared trauma. Years later, Katniss and Peeta play with their two children, as Katniss contemplates the nightmares of her past, and somberly reflects that there are much worse games to play. Mockingjay Part 2 delivers a suspenseful and emotional ride, as Katniss and the other rebels set out on a mission to kill the ruthless President Snow. The film plays heavy on its politics, showing the ugly side of revolutions. It would have been easy to make a pure good vs. pure evil scenario, but the movie shows a lot of gray areas and stresses on the fact that no one is incorruptible, which is far more enjoyable in terms of storytelling. The film also does justice to its characters in their final journey, and has great performances by its two leads. J. Lawrence excels in portraying a determined Katniss fighting to subdue her tortured emotions for the sake of a bigger cause. She perfectly balances the strength of making sacrifices and becoming merciless in war without losing her humanity. Hutcherson gives his best acting shot as a confused Peeta fighting battles both on the ground and within his mind. And his monologues arrive with several meaningful moments that remind us of what the Hunger Games were all about. However, it's D. Sutherland's and J. Moore's sickening performances as to similar nemeses that elevated this young adult film to a whole new level. But the film is anything but flawless. It has several problems which we can blame on the editing team. The slow pace of the film focuses too much on Katniss and her group. That makes you forget about the outside war. And when the time came, when the size of the rebellion showed itself, you don't get enough of it, which, in my opinion, is the biggest issue with the film. However, this was never meant to be a full-scale war film. It was always presented from one person's point of view, which is understandable. Nevertheless, instead of lingering on the imperfections, I applaud Mockingjay Part 2 for the bigger message it's trying to convey, for creating a satisfying resolution to one of the strongest and most enduring heroines in cinema, and for respecting its audience and not sugarcoating anything. People are complaining about this final chapter being too grim. My parents thought it was too realistic, too similar to what's happening in our country and so many others. I can only wish that movies like this will in some way contribute in making a wiser next generation of political leaders, which is what the film offers ultimately as consolation, a last sense of hope for the future. Mockingjay Part 2 is a fitting conclusion to the Hunger Games series, offering a powerful end to Katniss Everdeen's journey. It's a story of resilience, sacrifice, and hope in the face of tyranny. If you haven't seen it yet, it's definitely worth a watch. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more movie breakdowns and reviews. What did you think of Mockingjay Part 2? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, may the odds be ever in your favor.